We are Makilala TV, the first Filipino-American TV talk show in the New York metro area. Get to know us as we talk to the community leaders, innovators, advocates, and emerging artists who affect Filipino-American life.
Kahit maputi na ang buhok ko. You can definitely tell that I am getting older because even though I cannot carry a tune, I have the confidence to sing again on global cable TV. Aging is just a progression of life. You know, you have transitioned into the senior stage when you're taking time to appreciate the simple joys in life, when you have more time to smell the roses or dance in the rain. Unlike the new young families in my neighborhood, my husband and I are the new empty nesters. The newbies call us the OG, the original. And we actually take pride in having such reach that status. In this second episode of Suddenly Senior, The Art of Aging, we welcome back our guest, former Philippine Consul General in New York, Ambassador Mario De Leon Jr., Wealth Advisor and Financial Planner at Eagle Eye Strategies, Attorney Caroline Tanjutco, the owner of Monarch Medical Aesthetics, specializing in family geriatrics and aesthetic medicine, Doctor Alicia Almendral. Again, together with my co-hosts, Cristina Pastor and Rachelle Ocampo, I am Jen Fiore, and welcome back to Makilala TV. So, Rachelle, how do you think the first episode went?
Really exciting, and it helped me feel like more prepared for aging. In our first episode of really health and wealth, we learned about the importance of investing and saving early on. It's never too early to invest. The moment that your kids are able to say, I want, you should contribute and save. And then we learned with Dr. Alice that the top 3 things that geriatric patients or patients who are older and experienced and mature that they're dealing with is memory loss, oral health, and social isolation. So those are some things that we should also just keep in mind and prepare for. I can't wait for this episode. Jen, you said that you had lightning round questions for us.
Yeah, but before we do that, maybe our guests can say something about themselves.
Yes.
So we'll start with Ambassador De Leon. Tell us something about yourself and how can our viewers reach you?
Yeah, okay. No, I was just reacting to, how do you, try to keep yourself active in your age, right? So it's more of just being physically active. I have certain routines. I walk briskly at least 3 times a week. I don't go to the gym anymore since the pandemic. That's one thing I try to avoid. Now, even when it comes to commuting, because I don't drive here, from one point to another, I try to walk. In fact, if I'm going, for example, to 77th Street, and I go down on 60th Street in Manhattan, I'll walk the 17 blocks.
Wow.
So it's a good way to keep yourself not only active, but your cardio works well.
So, Ambassador, aside from the people finding you on your walking routine, how can our viewers reach you? Like, they have a website?
Reaching? Yeah, reaching me. We have a website. It's pbousa.us. It's a startup, and you'll be surprised. We only started it last year during the height of the pandemic. Yeah, because I used to do some part-time consultancy more in person, but that didn't work. So we started this. If you go into that website, you'll know how to contact me. There's an email there, info@pbousa.us, and I'll get a message.
Thank you.
And you'll also know what I'm doing.
What about you, Doctor?
So I have a medical practice and an aesthetic practice in Woodside, Queens, so the Little Manila of New York. And I also have an Instagram. It's called Doc Alice, and also Monarch Doc Alice. I have a couple of them. I'm also on Facebook. So I have a Facebook page. It's called Monarch Montage Skin Science and Medical Aesthetics.
Probably Attorney Carol?
It's great to be back. Thank you. I created a few websites, but for retirement, all issues that you want about Social Security, Medicare, investing, look for Retirement NYC. So you put at Retirement NYC. I have so many videos that you have a lot going for the entire Christmas season. Now, if you want to follow me in my travel, gotravelista.com. I also have a web page at gotravelista.
Very good. So now let's start this lightning round question. Gonna see if it will work, especially we have people who are remote. Okay, so 14 things no one tells you about aging. Number 1, that it's the golden years, so you have to, or you do know a lot of know-hows. Yes or no? I think it's a maybe for me. I didn't even answer the question. See, that's a problem with aging. What about you, Rachelle?
Know-hows? I feel like that I've been able to, yes.
Okay.
It's lightning round, so I'm going to say yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So, Alice, Ambassador? Yes or no?
Yes.
Cristina?
I guess yes.
All right. So now let me make this faster. We are happier until you get around 60 years old. I think so, yes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Non-applicable?
Not applicable.
I'm over 60, yes.
Yes. Okay. Cristina?
Yes.
Ambassador? Happier?
Yes, for me.
Very good.
Yes.
We play well with others. I say yes.
Well, I'm not over 60 yet.
Oh, that's okay. It's about
Maybe
aging.
yes. About aging, yes.
Yes.
Yes, I enjoy the company of all ages.
Cristina?
Yes, for me.
Ambassador?
Yes, also for me.
Okay.
Yes, for me.
Sex is better. If it happens. Yes.
When it does happen.
When it does happen,
better.
yes.
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 Doesn't apply to me.
No. Cristina?
Okay.
Ambassador?
Oh, okay, of course it's yes.
Cristina?
Oh, it's a maybe for me. Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, I'm gonna do one last thing. Fear is not your friend. Actually, I'm gonna ask a question. It's not gonna be a yes or no. What is your worst fear? I'm gonna answer first. Dying for some reason, because surrounded with family. As you get older, more people who get sick and die. And I just have a new grandchild, and I want to be able to be old enough to see her graduate from college. So that's my worst fear.
Or
is
walk
dying.
her down the aisle.
Or walk her down the aisle. Yes, that one too. All right. What about you,
For me, it's
Doc?
pain. Physical pain. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's being unable to finish what I started, and that's related to the inevitable.
I similar to you. It's dying alone. Yeah.
Ambassador?
Yeah, for me it's dying prematurely.
Cristina?
For me, it's being disabled. I'd rather be dead than be disabled because I don't want to impose my condition on the members of my family.
Now that I brought everybody down, I'm going to bring everybody up. So I'm going to ask the youngest one in the group to ask us a question
Oh, the question. I forgot.
about social relationships, taking care of the elderly.
Oh yeah.
Make a choice.
Do you think? Thank you, Jen. Do you think it is the younger generation's responsibility to take care of the elderly or the older folks? Do you think it's like inherently our responsibility?
Is it like a Filipino culture or?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great thought, especially for our culture. But no, I even heard my daughter saying it's not fair for them to have kids only for them to think that their kids might later look after them. And for us, we shouldn't really be thinking that way because our next generation might have their own problems. They might have their own special children. So who knows? So it's best that you plan ahead and do everything what you have to do the earliest possible, and don't do it alone. You always need a professional to sort out things for you, go over all your assets, which one is for long term, which one is for the short term, which one is for the legacy.
I totally agree with Carol. My parents taught us to not rely on your children. So it's our obligation to take care of our children, but it's not their obligation to take care of us. So you have to be prepared.
Cristina?
It is not our obligation, but I think our kids, being Filipinos, grow up thinking that they have the responsibility to take care of us. But in my family, we always tell my daughter, we are okay, take care of your family. Your father and I are fine.
Ambassador?
Yeah, for me, I don't want to impose on my children. The same way that my mom and my dad did not impose on us. They might have been, I would say, quite more. I don't want to use modern, but they were not exactly following Filipino tradition. So I don't expect that to come from my children. I think, take care of my own.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I asked that is because right now my generation is considered called like the sandwich generation, where we take care of both our kids and our parents. And I, even though my parents don't say it, I inherently, like what Cristina mentioned, want to take care of them and want to make sure that they don't have to go to like a nursing home or just be alone. I want them to be part of their family.
But how do you prepare that? Does it like does that add stress to you?
Yes.
You're just starting a new family, and at the same time,
yes,
you also have to worry about your parents.
Absolutely, and I see that with my husband and his family. Take care of his grandparents. Him being really one of the sole caretakers or primary caretakers of his grandma, and you could just see the stress in his eyes, and it's a lot.
Yeah, with managing stress as you get older, I think you have to have a good relationship with somebody. Mm-hmm. So how do you have strong relationship with other? I mean, is it relationship stronger as we get older, or do we all live separately? You know, whether you're a married couple or with somebody, do you think you have stronger ties, or you're more isolated?
Well, actually, when you talk about this relationship with your own children, your own family, and even your parents, communication is number one. Opening discussions like what happens in the future. Like my daughter just bought a house, and she said, Mom, the day will come that you'll be painting right here at my balcony, and I'm having a room for you. And I heard that from many of my cousins, especially those with the Filipino Chinese, and they say, always reserve a room for the mother-in-law. But you know what? I tell them, you don't have to thank you for thinking of us, but it's better that we're good on our own. We have our own retirement money, and we kind of calculate how much we're going to spend in the next 30 years, and we have it covered. Now, in the event of disability, now that's a different issue. But yeah, the key is if you had the plan in place, then you will feel better about it and communicate it with your family. That way, nobody's thinking, oh, who's going to take care of mom or grandma? It's a very serious issue.
If I may say something, I think it helps also to get a caregiver, especially for sandwich children with young kids and elderly parents. You can only focus on one or the other. But for things that you cannot, handle, it helps to have a paid help caregiver.
Yeah.
It is usually in the Philippines we hire our relatives or we let them stay in our house, and then they are the caregivers. We give them free housing, they're the caregivers. But in the States, there's more professional help in that sense.
Well, what the issue is that goes back to what Attorney Carol was saying is you need to plan for it, and I don't know if we did. I don't think they have, and I think that's the issue is some of our parents and grandparents did not plan for that because they were just struggling to paycheck to paycheck to take care of their family. They didn't think about themselves. So I think we're at that place where it could be either or. And yes, we could say, yes, caregiver is great, but not everyone has the money for a caregiver.
Well, it's not too late for you to plan right now because you know how this first generation of parents did everything to spend down all their money to raising their kids. So now maybe you can put yourself in a situation where, hey, do you have something extra? Maybe we can fund some kind of an insurance to cover this and deduct it as a medical expense. Or maybe we could set up an asset or maybe a house somewhere where it would be intended later on.
I've heard that more.
Yes.
I mean, we're juggling.
Carol, is caregiving. Is caregiving covered by insurance, Carol?
It is not really. If it's given by a family household, no, it's not. But if you purchase the insurance for like something like a long-term care, it is deductible as it's a federal tax. It's deductible up to a certain AGI in excess of 10% of your AGI, aggregate gross income. Those are big words, right? But in the state of New York, you get 20% outright tax credit if you do purchase it. Yeah. But caregiving per se, no, it's not. You have to hire a nurse, then that's the only time,
I mean, as we go ahead.
Yeah, I think for home health, right? Home health aid. If you're a relative, you know, or you're a son or a daughter, I think you can still get paid for that. For
if
taking
you're
care of
enrolled
your-
in the home health care agency, but if you're not, you
You
can't
do have,
just
you just have to sign up for it. But there is an
Yes.
opportunity in New York as a resident that if you are a family member and you are a primary caretaker, you can get paid to do that.
That's right.
I mean, as we get older, we're juggling multiple responsibilities, but at the same time, we have to focus on ourselves. Because if we don't take care of ourselves, and if we're not happy, we're not physically healthy, we cannot be beneficial, to other people. So my next question is, how do you take care of you? Start with. I mean, you're still very young.
I have an advantage because I have
What do you advise us, a little older than you, how to take care of ourselves?
well, physically,
Physically, mentally.
Well, physically, I have, I do skincare. So, but of course, what I can recommend, of course, is to avoid prolonged UV rays exposure because it can increase the free radicals and can damage your skin. Exercise. Exercise, well, it can also reduce the risk for fall. 40% reduction for fall in 50 years old and above when you exercise. So if you do Tai Chi, it actually reduces your risk for fall 19%. So those things, and of course, stay hydrated. So that's physical.
So how much water? Hydrated.
I always say 2 to 3 liters per day.
That's how
So
many
about a
glasses?
gallon of water is about 3 liters. So if you can consume that the whole 24 hours, that would be great.
Well, for me, I work hard, but I play hard. And I really enjoy it. I do a lot of traveling. And even before I was in the Philippines, I do litigation. I was a litigation attorney in the morning. I do criminal trials. But I'm in the golf course in the afternoon.
Oh.
And forget about my weekends. Don't talk to me on weekends because I'm painting on weekends. And I travel a lot.
Well, Ambassador, earlier on, we talked about how you're kind of like allergic to aging, or you're kind of hesitant actually to even be in this panel because, you've been working all your lives in the 38 years in the government service, and now they say you don't quit your day job. So I want to hear from Ambassador feedback on that.
Yeah, that's right. One of the things that I thought of when I suddenly realized that I'm retired is what will I do? I've always identified myself as a diplomat, and whenever I go, they still call me a diplomat. So one is really to establish a routine. What do you do? I mean, you had a certain routine when you were working. So I continued that routine, but of course it's different. Right now, I continue to socialize a lot with many community events, but of course I'm more selective in attending those that we feel we're more relevant to. And secondly, when it comes to I said that I'm a part-time consultant. I did that not more as a matter of not only giving back, but of trying to prove myself in another field. Because before going to the Foreign Service, I was really in management consultancy. So I tried to relearn, and that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to speak a different language now than I used to do before. I'm more frank when I talk with people. And at the same time, even the kind of charity work that I'm involved in right now is more on helping people, for instance, if they try to avail of a loan, we try to help them, in certain aspects of the loan where they don't, they really need technical help, like, preparing a business plan, or preparing just something that will be more believable to the loan institutions. I mean, those are things I'm involved in right now, so it's quite different from what I've been doing. But I continue to believe in helping the community and raising the profile of Filipinos. That's the reason why I'm helping aspiring Filipino American politicians, mostly the youth. I go to their launch. I think Rachelle here knows that. I know she's actively involved in that. I do every bit that I can. So that's what I've been doing. That keeps me busy. That keeps my mind active. That keeps me socially involved. And at least I have a certain sense of fulfillment.
Yeah, I think I like to have my own identity. I mean, I can't just be a mom and a grandma. Because there'll be a time that they don't want you, both of them, both categories. That have to be me. So we have to find ways. That's why I do Makilala TV, and that's my me time. And
We will always take care of you.
Thank you. I think Cristina has a question.
I have a question for all the three guests. What's on your bucket list? Ambassador. Sorry to start with you.
Well, I really want to travel more. I want to visit
What country?
places particularly Spain and Portugal. Surprisingly, I've never been there. That's an area that that's the part of Europe that I really want to go to. That's part of my bucket list.
Carol?
For me, it's two things. I'm planning to revise my book and incorporate all the new changes in the law, and it keeps my mind sharp too. And the other part is more travel. I'm off to Abera in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And but the part that, although I've been to Africa, I still want to travel more in Africa, Tanzania, because one of the things that I highly recommend is like Johannesburg. People are scared about Johannesburg. They like Cape Town, which is the touristy part. But it was life-changing when I got to Johannesburg because of being in Soweto. I asked my driver there, take me to the poorest part of Johannesburg. And I see happy faces. They live in matchbox and yet they're pretty, they're clean, and they're happy. And I said, whoa, this is different. People got to see this. To me,
For
that's
me,
what.
I haven't been to places really, but I haven't been to any places but United States and the Philippines.
I'm busy working.
Yeah, but hopefully, when things get, better, then I would probably start going to the places where you went. Yeah.
Any quick advice? Last question for the panel, for all of us. Any quick advice to the younger or older generation in your case? Let's start with Cristina. Any quick, any advice for the younger generation?
I think it's just as simple as following your bliss, whatever makes you happy. That's it. That should define everything else in life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We miss you, by the way, so please come back. Ambassador, what about you? Any advice to the younger generation?
Yeah, It's simple. It's simple, just like what Cristina also mentioned. If you have a passion, continue that. Follow your passion. I think that's what will make a difference.
Very good, Attorney Carol.
Travel the world. That's very important. My daughter is in over 50 countries,
Wow.
taking every opportunity she could when there's break. She's a penny pincher, but believe it or not, she's done over 50 already.
For me, it's just to have a healthy lifestyle. That's it.
Advice is be more present. There's so much things that are happening in our lives that we want to check off on our bucket list, but I also just want to feel like that we're present around the people that we love.
I guess I have one more quick question. If you leave, when you're ready to go, what word do you think they should describe you? In my case, just happy.
Well, that made a difference. Yeah.
Good you said that, because it's my daily prayer that if there's one wish that I'll ever have, it's to have a happy death.
Happy death. Rachelle, you still...
Mine would be that I'd be loving.
Loving. Ambassador, one word?
Yeah, one word. I'll use the word service.
Service. Absolutely. Cristina?
I don't know. I think I've been thinking about it. I think I want to be seen as somebody who is not complicated.
Perfection. Well, that concludes our series on Suddenly Senior. I think we went by really fast, the art of aging. To our guest again, maraming salamat. The cast and crew, thank you. To our viewers, thank you for inviting us to your homes. Remember, don't worry, be happy. Until next time, sa ulitin, here at Makilala TV.